Okay, welcome to part 3 of this series. Today we're going to be gluing the rings in the back of it, the rocket, and we're also going to be starting to get the fins ready to mount the first one as soon as those rings dry. And so then there'll be part 4 after this one. They'll continue till we get through the build on it. Thank you for stopping by, they say. Okay, back after sanding the fins. I got this ring in there, and it's sitting about in the middle. It's not important it has to be right in the middle because each fin is going to be cut individually for that slot on the scroll saw. I'm just going to come in here and cut out a quarter inch square so that they interlock. And the idea is to give the fin something to lock into, and it also supports the ring. The ring will be glued. I'm going to glue it next. And I'm going to glue it right here inside there. Now you say, well, it needs to have glue on it. Is it slid in there? Yeah, it probably does. Perfect world. Remember, when I'm building this rocket today, I'm anticipating it being a one and done deal. One flight, hang in a tree, fly away. So far, that's all that I've accomplished with them. Or explode the back end off of it, which is my other favorite thing I've been doing. I've had the hardest time with these PVC motors of getting the throttle dialed in. I had it dialed in to 13/64, which was a really good throttle size. But somewhere along the way, they got a bad set of end caps. I'm starting to notice the ones that exploded are blowing off the front end cap. So I've switched over to using the box store variety, which is a stouter cap. So if it blows that off, then I might be able to cut back. I found it 18/64. They will survive that with a flat cap. This end here, the little flat cap, has never exploded on this end. It's always blown this front piece off, and there'll be maybe part of the cap still glued to the tube here and the end missing, or just blow the whole thing off, all in entirety. So I switched back to these stouter built caps, thinking that's part of the problem. Also part of the problem when I was using 13/64 and it was working was it was probably about 90 grams, and with this 4-inch casing it went up to 100 grams. So maybe 10 grams is just that extra little bit it couldn't tolerate. The thing is, it couldn't go to 14/64 because it still exploded. And 15, 16, 17 will survive sometimes, but it's right on the edge of exploding. So I had to go to 18 with these flat caps. I'm hoping that when I change back to this one, that I can drop back to a 17 and get a little better performance engine without it exploding. So that's one thing I'll be trying on one of these engines, is to make sure that it will run without exploding. I've tore up my test stand several times with it blowing up, and they don't just pop the top and be quiet about it. They blow the whole end off the test stand. I mean, shatter a one before till there's nothing left of it. Now, these engines are really dangerous if used in the wrong way, or if you're around them when they're lit. That's just something you don't want to do ever. All right, well, I'm going to glue this in, and then I'll come back and glue one of the fins on. You can see that the little bit of sanding I did really made a difference in the way the fin looked. It got a little aggressive right there, but if it was painted, nobody would ever notice that. It's not going to be painted. And to do the text, it needs to be a different kind of bit. This was probably an end bit that was not made for this fine work. And those could be cleaned up very easily before it was painted. However, I'm not going to do that. I'll be back when I glue that fin on. Okay, welcome back. We're going to glue this ring in. I don't know where I got to in the last video, so I want the engine to be able to fit through there with that style cap and this style cap. Other than this little nub here, which I'll take off, will make the engine. So we're just going to glue this thing in there. Try to get it centered best we can. Looks good there. It don't look good there. It don't matter if they're a little bit different because each. Well, that's not bad. And now we're going to put some glue on that. Let it dry, and we're an hour behind where I thought we'd be. This glue is thin enough to run down in between there, and there's no load on this ring at all, no stress load. It's just to hold the radial position of the engine. All the load's going to be on that plate up front. There's no side loads on these. And so just the glue that I'm putting on here and what will run down in between the two will be more than enough, too much. Put blue tape on it, kind of a spiral pattern. It screws in and it will not come back out. There's no ejection charge to push it out. so I don't knock them out of place.